This is Runa Nero, reporting to you live from the moon. But you can just call me Runa. Hmm. Notice anything different about me? I'm moving! I'm moving a lot. I'm moving so much. Look at my hair. I got my rigging updated and it feels great. I wasn't able to get in contact with the person who did my previous rigging, so I opted to get rigging updated from this creator named RJ45. He's on Twitter and he's on Fiverr. He's really wonderful to work with. Look at how fluid and bouncy I am. I'm so happy with the service he provided. Check him out if you need rigging for your Live 2D VTuber model. I definitely recommend him. Also, cool background, cool music. Their credits are over here, but they'll also be in the description below if you want to take a look yourself. So, the reason why I called you all here today is because I wanted to discuss my current playthrough of Silent Hill 4: The Room, as well as my thoughts and theories for the game. This is more of a reflection and a place to dump my thoughts, because I've been thinking about this game non-stop, and I'm making it everyone else's problem. I'm not too far into Silent Hill 4, 5 hours and 57 minutes to be exact. I last stopped at the water prison world. That should tell you about how far I am. But I have a lot of thoughts. Let me just get over to my desk. I wrote down world by world what I did and how I felt about each world. So without further ado, Subway World, yeah! My first entry into Silent Hill. The opening video really freaked me out a lot. It freaked me out so much that I didn't think I would enjoy the game anymore. Well, you know, the first impression wasn't great. The gameplay and the monsters just seemed like it was gonna be too much for me. I was charmed by it still, but I felt like I was scared most of all. I was scared. Okay, yeah, I was a pussy. One of the things that kept me going was that I knew that this game means so much to my partner, and I wanted to experience it. And I do really like the horror genre, and I like creepiness. I like kind of like shivery feelings, heebie-jeebies, stuff like that. I think it's really cool. Psychological horror thrillers, definitely my cup of tea. While I was playing, just when I had gotten to a part that I felt like was getting boring, something else quickly grabbed my attention, whether that be, you know, a new monster coming or something like that. Or like a cutscene, or I find a new item and I'm like, whoa, what's that mean? Cynthia dying hooked me real good. I love the way that the music was playing as she was found, and you know, James had told her it was just a dream and it wasn't real. Very sad. Very speaks a lot to James as I'm saying James. Henry. I'm so bad at this. It really speaks a lot to Henry as a human. You know, this lady is dying in front of you. What are you going to say to comfort her? You know, she mentions something about a dream, and you just say, yes, it is a dream. And you know, Cynthia died, thinking that it was a dream. And I think that's really nice. And it says that Henry is, you know, more empathetic than I may have had realized with my previous first impression that I got of him. Anyway, Forest World. Forest World was creepy, just like everything else. Looking over the VODs, I really don't know why I thought it was a jungle. That was just... Why did you think that, Runa? The Sacred Rocks gave me weird feelings, along with the Wish House. Definitely more interested to learn about the religion and see like what's going on. Jasper, the man that we met in the forest world, had mentioned something about the children in the witch house being used for experiments for the religion, something like that. I can't really word for word tell you, but what he said, just because of my memory, but it wasn't pretty. To me, Jasper felt like he was a protagonist in a way, even if he did shortly meet his end after I met him. You know, his last meal was chocolate milk. It's pretty great. He was the reason why I get like protagonist vibes from him is that I felt like he was scared. Yeah, he was scared to be in the witch house, but he wasn't scared to talk to other people, and he wasn't scared to follow me into the witch house once I got the key. So, and he wasn't scared to, you know, catch on fire. I think he might have been scared then. Anyway, meeting younger Walter and discovering his grave marked as 11121 was super cool too. Kind of connected the dots of why did Cynthia's body have the 16121 number. You know, all these numbers definitely mean something, but I'm just trying to figure out exactly what they mean. Water Prison World. Water Prison World was super gross. I have it in my notes. It's written in all caps. Gross. Anything that's wet and grimy gives me the shivers. The reveal that the man in the prison, Andrew, who I called Alfred multiple times. Sorry about that. When it was revealed he worked at Wish House and knew Walter personally, I thought that was interesting too. Like, all of these levels are kind of culminating into things or experiences that Walter may have had or may know about. Still, I am going to go over theories in a second. This level was difficult because the guide I was working with was vague enough to be confusing, and I did everything in a seemingly different order than the guide did. I had spent about 2 to 3 hours playing this part when I had only spent about an hour playing the other worlds. But goodness, it felt really good to finally solve the puzzle. It made me feel really smart. This world has got to be the worst one yet, I think. Like, the orphanage in the forest was bad. Witch house was bad. But the prison where we trap children and feed them other humans and deprive them of bathing, proper food, and light to the point where they turn into little gray blobs because of their lack of care was awful. It was awful. From a completely fiction standpoint, this definitely gave me the heebie-jeebies. I love this kind of thing in fiction. I'm kind of a freak, but yeah, that was fun, but it was also very bad. Eventually I want to rate the worlds. I think that would be a fun video. In my last video, Water Prison World, I said that I feel like you couldn't make a Silent Hill 4 nowadays because I feel like people wouldn't, like, get it. I feel like gamers in our time have looked past stories that are contained in physically small worlds in favor of open world games where you can get lost and have fun doing it. Not to say those gamers are wrong for what they enjoy. Skyrim is the love of my life. I will never get over her for the reason of the exploration. Basically, I feel like they don't make them like this anymore. The clunky controls, having to prepare your weapon with one button and strike with another button, the horror element of the unknown, because everything is 2 HD these days. You know, I bring up the regenerators. Please don't put a picture of the regenerators up here. Thank you. I bring up the regenerators from Resident Evil 4. I was very, very, very afraid of them. I still am afraid of them. Very, very afraid of them to the point where I couldn't play the game because they were just so scary to me. You know, in the Resident Evil 4 remake, they aren't as scary. They seem kind of frumpy little guys, you know? Like, I mean, they're huge, but they're like not that threatening. I think the reason why it scared me so much in the GameCube version was because it was so distorted in the way that my mind kind of put together the pieces of the that was missing from the regenerators physically and filled them in to be something more scarier than they actually were. It comes in the fear of the unknown. It comes in the fear of darkness. We don't know what's there. It could literally be anything, and that to me is very scary. This brings me to my next point. About Silent Hill 2. I didn't play it because Silent Hill 4, as I'm playing it, is the first Silent Hill I've ever played. I have watched Gavis Battle of Hollow Stars English. I watched Gavis Battle of Hollow Stars English play through the Silent Hill 2 remake, and I have thoughts about that one too. I'm not too far into Silent Hill 4, as I've said, but now I can see the similarities between the two games. Obviously, they're Silent Hill games. After I had finished Silent Hill 2 with Battle, I took note on how the story of Silent Hill was presented to us as an audience. There were multiple times when something was implied so heavily that it turned out to be wrong and actually something else. This is my first time engaging with the Silent Hill game, so seeing it be full of red herrings was a trip. It was almost like the story didn't have any twists or turns. The story you thought you were witnessing was wrong. So it kind of like, it makes you think a lot, which I like. I love stretching my noodle. It makes me think a lot. It makes me think about how other stories are presented through media, and how the narratives, you know, there's unreliable narrators, there's narrators that could never tell a lie, you know, and represent things as honestly and as accurately as they can. And sometimes this might be to a fault. So, like I said, the story didn't have any twists or turns. The story was the story. What you had thought of during the story was your own fault, I guess I should say. For example, Silent Hill 2 spoilers Silent Hill 2 spoilers ahead. Bettel and I were very, very convinced that Mary was someone who was real, and Mary was the person that James had cheated on, which James didn't cheat at all. She was just a representation of the life that James wanted. And to find out that Maria wasn't real, I don't know if I said Mary or Maria in the last one. To find out that Maria wasn't real was kind of like, oh, they were kind of telling us this, but the other facts were louder, you know? Like, so everyone feeling this for the first time, I bet, believed that Maria was real and that James did cheat. But that's not how it was at all. Very interesting. I really do like storytelling. I love stories. Anyway, because of this, I've become super, super aware of how narratives are presented through media because of this. Like, Silent Hill 4. If Henry says this thing, is it really true? Who are we supposed to trust if we don't trust the main character? Is Walter telling the truth? Is the news on the radio telling the truth? Is it really bad to go outside even after Walter has written on your door and chained your door? He probably didn't I don't know if he did that, but he wrote on your door, "Don't go out." Like, who are we supposed to believe when the main character has such a shaky, footing on the ground? I feel like there are certain parts in the gameplay where Henry literally feels like he's losing his mind, obviously, but also in parts that he doesn't feel like he's connected to reality. And that can provide to be an unreliable narrator as well. So, alright, let's get to theories! Yay! Okay, so the theories that I have are short and small. I don't have much to back it up, but this is my favorite part. I love saying what I think is going to happen. It's obvious that all the people who were killed had some connection to Walter. I have a list of them that I wrote on a index card that I keep on my desk. I'll show it right here. We know that Cynthia, Alfred, and Jasper so far are somehow related to Walter. I am unsure of how Cynthia could be related. Alfred, he worked at Wish House. Jasper, he went into Wish House and, was burned. My theory, one of my theories, is that Walter is not killing people now. The game mentions the Walter Sullivan case, saying that there were 10 killings in 10 days. This implies that Walter did kill those people, obviously. But what about now? I don't think Walter is doing any of the killings now. I think it's a copycat. What leads me to think this? The distrust I have in Henry. Which leads me to theory number 2. Henry is killing people now. I mean, yes, he's not able to leave his apartment, but when he does, through the hole, everyone he meets ends up dying. These people are as much connected to Henry as they are to Walter. Or the funniest theory, theory 3, it's Final Fantasy VIII, and Henry has conveniently forgotten that he used to be housed at Wish House, and he's reliving his childhood through Walter acting as a placeholder. That would be really funny if that would happen. Put it on the books. This is my theory. So, yeah, that's what I think. I'm really excited to play more. I can't wait to see what becomes of this story because I'm very enthralled with it. I've been thinking of nothing but Walter Sullivan for the past 5 days. And, yeah. Okay, so, yeah, thanks for watching. Next up will be a new, VOD of the next part of, Silent Hill, and, I'll see you later. I'm standing up, and I'm leaving.